true, true.
True.
Yeah. Let's go.
True.
Yerp. What's good? How y'all feeling? Welcome back. Everything is everything is like slightly out of order. Trying to get, you know what I'm saying? That's just one of the things, right? If you've been here long enough, you know this room that I am is that I'm in is like it's pure chaos, right, chat? So it's like to maintain the organization in this room is insanity. I will have to give the kids credit though. Yesterday, we had a little gathering for my son and him and his buddies they were turned. They were turned up. They were wilding out. I don't stop them. I let them do whatever it is they want to do. But they absolutely destroyed this place. But I will give them credit because they straightened it up a little bit. They straightened it up a little bit. So I gotta give them kudos to that. What's good? I know you missed me, right? But I'm back. I am back with no agenda. The conversation. I feel like the conversation about streaming consistency comes up often, but I always gotta mention little things here and there some certain times, right? Like the way life be life in chat, and we just out here really just I don't want to say trying to survive. We out here just doing whatever it is we need to do to maintain our mental health, maintain our mental capacity, right? Our capacity to do whatever, stream, to work, to take care of children, family members, go out, have fun, travel. You know what I'm saying? Like you go to the airport, chat, and you try to check in for your flight. A flight you purchased months ago, right? You thinking, I made it to the airport on time. I packed everything. I didn't forget nothing. I'm good. I'm ready for this vacation or ready for this trip to go support my friend's wedding or whatever the case may be. And you go to check in and you get an error, right? So you go back and you at the kiosk and you like, right? Confirmation code's correct. You double check it on your phone. Okay, I spelled my name correct, right? All right, let me try it a different way, right? Let me try to insert my card into the system. If you travel often, you know what I'm talking about, right? Let me insert my card, see if it can verify me through my card, right? Now, error. What? Hold up. What's going on? So you go and you looking around, you're like, hold up, I need some help. I need customer service. And all of a sudden they tell you, oh, I'm sorry to inform you, but this airline shut down yesterday. What do you mean shut down? Yeah, this airline went out of business. So, yeah, your ticket's no longer valid. What do you mean? Like, who do I talk to? Unfortunately, there is no one for you to talk to at this moment. Um, it's nothing that you did. It's like a company wide thing, right? The airline they're not operating anymore. And it start to click in your head because it's early in the morning and you did everything you had to do to get out the door and to get to the airport on time, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And now you're starting to wake up because the adrenaline is pumping in your head and you go, so you're trying to say like they went out of business? And the customer service rep is like, yeah, that's pretty much exactly what I'm telling you. It's exactly what I'm telling you. So what do I do about my flight? They go, unfortunately, bro, anytime a customer service representative or agent kind of hits you with the unfortunately, chat, unfortunately is like, I feel like one of the worst words when it comes to shout out to Ice Flow in the building. We got to take a moment to appreciate Ice coming through with the raid. How are you doing today? Let that music go on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, I can never remember how long the raid tone is. It gives us a little time to turn up. You know what I'm saying? Ice in the building. That was a clean. That was a very clean stop right there. What's good, Ice? Welcome in to anyone who came through on the raid. What's good? This morning, first of all, who am I? If you're new here and you're lurking in the shadows, I am True, right? True Keyman, you can call me True. I'm a variety streamer. I pretty much stream anything from gaming to just chatting to real world stuff. I mean, I streamed myself walking through Disney Springs about a couple of weeks ago, but my video was upside down. Twitch, you got some splaining to do. Like, what was up with that? But when it comes to Monday, I typically try to focus on like a financial entertainment type of thing, right? I'm not an advisor. I'll give the disclaimer later, but it's just entertainment. So what were we talking about right before you guys rated in? Well, we're talking about showing up at the airport, right? We're showing at the airport. We did everything we needed to do to get there on time. We packed our bags. We're ready for vacation, right? We took PTO. You get to the airport and your confirmation number's not working. Entering your name into the kiosk is not working. Entering your credit card for confirmation is not working. You got to go see somebody. What? Excuse me, the kiosk is not working. What's going on? They say, unfortunately, your flight and everyone's flight has been canceled. Right? Everyone with this airline, because this airline went out of business. And you like, yo, what the hell? Right? So if you haven't picked up what we're talking about just yet, I mean, we're talking about Spirit Airline, right? Have you heard it, chat? If you haven't heard it, you might be living under a rock at this point, right? Let's do a quick little transition. But if you haven't heard it, like I said, if you haven't heard it, you might be living under a rock. But Spirit Airlines just went out of business. Like, no transition, no, hey, we're not going to be selling flights after this date. None of that, chat. They straight up just said, listen, we're winding down operations. All operations. Flights is canceled. Airport definitely be porting, right? They said the flights is canceled. Yeah, we understand this is an inconvenience. We know you booked your flight. Like, look at the website. There's nothing here. For guests. Hey, you're a guest, refund status. The status of your refund is you're not getting your money back. I'm rejecting cookies. I don't want no cookies from Spirit Airlines. The funny thing on social media though is like everyone's updating their resume to say that they had some type of job with Spirit, right? So yeah, I said, wait, what? Yeah, that listen. Yes, Spirit Airline went out of business. Flight status canceled. Everyone, right? Look at the website. The website is look, if you're a guest, if you're a vendor, this is what we got for you. Here are some FAQs for you. I booked an upcoming let's see. I booked an upcoming Spirit flight. What should I do? All Spirit flights have been canceled effective immediately. While we're unable to help rebook your flight on another airline, we will automatically process refunds for any flights purchased through Spirit with a credit or debit card to the original form of payment. Guests who booked flights via a travel agent should contact the travel agent directly to request a refund. Listen, if you booked your flight through a travel agent, you might as well take that L because you're not getting your money back. Good thing is your flight was only $37.86. But you're not getting that money back. Shout out to Miss G in the building coming through. Right? So how soon when I get my refund? I knew it wasn't going to be no date. They'll be issued and will be processed by, listen, it may take time to appear on your account. They don't even tell you how long. But I feel like if you got your flight directly through Spirit, they will give you your money back. But I feel like if you got it through a third party, you're cooked, bro. I honestly feel like you're cooked. So, depending on the third party, right? Like, I'm not sponsored or nothing, but I feel like if you got your flight through something like Travelocity, right? There are certain third party, agents that, I feel like are pretty trustworthy. I feel like Travelocity is one of those people. You may get a little bit of runaround sometimes, but I feel like they'll work to try to keep your business. They'll be like, you paid $40 for your flight, we're gonna get you your money back, right? But yeah, people have been updating their resumes, chat. People have been saying, hey, we're gonna vouch for each other. We all used to work at Spirit Airlines. Let me ask you a question. If you were to actually put Spirit on your resume, right? If you were to put Spirit on your resume because you're like, hey, this is my opportunity to come up off a company that essentially doesn't exist, no longer is in business, right? There's no one there to certify my references, right? There's nobody. So what position you giving yourself, chat? What position are you giving yourself? You know what I'm saying? Because out of the number of positions available for an airline, I mean, there's a lot. I will say, though, if you go as far as putting, I was a pilot.
What the hell is even that?
If you put on your resume that, I was the CFO.
What the hell is even that?
If you put on your resume that, hey, you know what I'm saying? I was... You were the accountant.
What the hell is even that?
Chat. If you do any of that, bro, I feel like you're cooked. But if you put something on there like, I was a flight attendant, right? Maybe you could kind of get away. Maybe you could say, I had just got hired, and then I just lost my job through text message. They sure ain't flying that plane without proof of degree. That's facts. I never use travel agents. Hey, shout out to Berserk in the building, chat. Listen. But yeah, Spirit Airlines, bruh. I mean, I'm not going to tell y'all what to do. I know I don't recommend things, right? Quick disclaimer, I'm not an advisor. I'm not a financial accountant. None of those things that deal with finance. I have a degree in finance, but hey, that's it. I had to give that quick disclaimer before I say my next statement. If you are looking for a job and in need of a job and you got some gaps in your history, I'm not telling you to put Spirit on your resume, but I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I don't know. What y'all think, chat? If you struggling to get a job, would you put Spirit Airlines on your resume? And if you did, what would you put? Listen, I'll tell y'all right now, off break. You want to know what I would put, chat? You know what I would want to put? Because if I'm thinking, hey, listen, I need a job, right? I'm thinking, what job could I give myself that if I want to get into that same industry, won't require me to have a ton of experience, right? Because even putting yourself as like a stewardess or a flight attendant, that's even can be risky if you try to get another job in that profession. Like I used to work for Spirit. Now I'm going to apply as a Delta flight attendant, right? I feel like there are certain things you got to know as a flight attendant, right? Like you got to know what buttons to push. So you're going to have some knowledge. Spirit Airlines, I was there for 10 minutes before they shut down. Teach your brother how to fly. Facts. Let me put y'all on game, right? If you're going to lie on your resume, especially with something like, oh, I'm going to say that I work for this company that went out of business that no one can verify, right? I'm going to go with customer service representative, right? What did you do for customer service? Well, I checked the status of people refunds. I checked the status of people's lost baggage. I checked if items were in lost and found, right? I'm going to give myself something that I can transition that to another industry, right? Because let's say, all right, True used to work for Spirit Airlines. I worked for Spirit Airlines for the last 5 years, chat. And I was customer service, right? So now that I have lost my job with Spirit, I think I'm going to just try to transition out of the airline business, honestly. I think realistically, I might even go into maybe member services for a credit card or a bank, or I might go into customer service for a hotel or something. Sounded believable, right? But the thing I got in my right, easy one. The thing I had in my head is like, well, some of these other industries are probably going to teach you how to be customer service, right? Because one doesn't necessarily translate to the other. So the fact that you have 5 years experience working for Spirit Airlines as customer service gives you some experience. It's better than say, listen, this is my third day out here. I ain't never had a job, right? You sitting there with the empty resume trying to get a decent paying job. They looking like
you're cooked, brother.
Meanwhile, the ex-CFO of Spirit, right? The guy who randomly put that on his resume is like, listen, I just need to pay my bills. I'm okay with any position. And some random company they decide to work for is like, oh, we'll give you a shot. Anyway, yeah. First of all, if I show up at the airport and my airline no longer exists, yo, somebody fight me, bro. Somebody put your hands up. Put up your dukes. Run me my fade. You feel me? Like, what y'all doing, Chad, if you show up to an airport and your airline no longer exists? Listen, I know that's a tough time for people. But there's this article out, chat, that says the only thing worse than Spirit Airlines is a world without Spirit Airlines. Sahil Desai, what do you mean by that? Right? This article was obviously made yesterday. Let's see what they're talking about. Spirit Airlines died as it lived. Lots of angry customers and no one is picking up the phone. That's a fact. That's a fact. Literally, people, I told you guys earlier, I had people at my house yesterday and we were having this discussion and they were literally calling Spirit Airlines customer service. And you get one ring and a dial tone. That's crazy. Early yesterday morning when America's most hated airline announced that it would, dang, why they got to be America's most hated though? They announced they will immediately cease all operations. Spirit left tens of thousands of passengers at airports across America scrambling to figure out what to do next. Bro, you know how much plane tickets are? Can you imagine if somebody else had to buy that plane ticket for you? Now you're at the airport because you used your last, right? You use your last couple dollars. Let's be real. This could be a real life situation. Somebody used their last couple dollars to get to the airport thinking, hey, once I get to the airport, I'm good, right? Because either, hey, somebody paid for my vacation, I'm going to an all-inclusive, or I'm not going on vacation, I'm going to visit family, right? Get my mind right, etc. And then now you stuck at the airport, chat.
God damn!
All Spirit flights have been canceled and customer service is no longer available.
God damn!
Arrived to catch their flights only to find deserted check-in kiosks plastered with a goodbye message. Joe, put your dukes up, Spirit. Run me my fade. Because if I walk into the airport and this is what I see,
God damn!
somebody's going to have to fight me, bro. Anybody with yellow, run me my fade, bro. I don't care if you were here for a flight with Spirit. Yo, you on Spirit's side, bro? You got on yellow, bro. Run me my fade, son. The end of Spirit was sudden and dramatic. All right, let's skip through. Right? They going to try to make us sign in for the article. The Schadenfreude that Spirit's many haters are feeling now is free, unlike everything else Spirit offered. The airline lured customers with dirt cheap fares and then nickel and dime them with hitting extra charges. Wanted to book online that came with a passenger usage fee of $28 each way. A carry-on bag, $33, right? Or how about you a printed boarding pass, another $10. Even the water came with a price tag, $4.50. Listen, absolutely insane work. And I'm going to be real with you, chat. This is nothing against Spirit or anybody who has flown Spirit. I have never flown Spirit because of the things that I've heard, right? People paying a couple dollars for a ticket. Then all of a sudden they got to pay for their carry-on. They got to pay for printed boarding pass. They got to pay for using the website. They got to pay for using a representative at the airport. They got to pay for a seatbelt. They got to pay to store their personal bag. Like, yo, it's cooked. It's absolutely cooked. Insane work. So the fact that Spirit Airlines is kind of out of there, who takes over, chat? Let me go full screen real quick. Now that Spirit Airlines is out of there, chat, who takes over as the worst airline? Let's see if Google gives us an answer. Now that Spirit Airlines is gone, who takes over as the worst airline? Let's just see what Google says. Listen, Google gave a clear answer, chat. A clear answer. I didn't read it yet. We're going to check it out together, but this is not me. This is Google. Following Spirit Airlines' sudden shutdown, Frontier Airlines is widely considered the top contender for the worst airline due to its similar ultra-low cost model, high fees, and poor service reputation. Other carriers often cited in discussions regarding lower customer satisfaction include Allegiant Air and occasionally a changing Southwest Airlines. Hey, listen. Linda, listen. I'm going to be real with you, right? I'm not going to sit here and tolerate any American's airline slander, right? I'm not gonna tolerate any American Airlines slander. You know what I'm saying? American Airlines is unless you say Allegiant Air. We're gonna say AA means Allegiant Air. You feel me? Because American Airlines is my go-to airline, chat. You know what I'm saying? Because unlike many other individuals, and even JetBlue, I've never had a bad experience on either of those flights. Now, I will say it's not impossible, right? Because you can go to any flight. You could be on a perfect plane. They got upgrades for days and still have a bad experience, right? Because there's many things that lead to that. But listen, one thing I can at least count on from most airlines is I don't have to worry about a bunch of the hidden fees, right? To me, yeah, Delta, yeah. I don't think there's a person that's going to debate liking Delta. Delta definitely ain't the bottom for sure. But Frontier, listen, Chad, Frontier, I'm going to agree. I'm going to say Frontier got to be up there as now the new worst, even though I have not taken a Frontier flight as well. Let me give you a reason why. So, we're trying to take a family trip. We're planning a family trip, right? And from destination A to destination B, it's a straight line. Granted, and I mentioned this before, right? Airlines purchase airspace, right? So that's one of the things that can make an airline a quote unquote worst airline because they have some of the worst airspace. But if I'm going to, for example, if I'm going from New York, chat, to Atlanta, why would I want my plane, chat? Why would I want my plane to stop in Vegas, California, Texas, Colorado, right? Chicago. Why would I want my plane to do all that? Nah, JetBlue my go-to for real. I never go far. Right. If you're not going far, listen, JetBlue. And JetBlue, listen, hey, I haven't flown JetBlue in a while, but they used to hold it down with them terror chips. And what happened? Like, bro, what happened to Spirit? Weren't they supposed to have standing room only? Maybe them mentioning that, kind of cooked the business. I don't know, Chad. But that's crazy. So yeah. Terrible. Them layovers are terrible. Like if you had a layover listen, there's a certain amount of layovers that's like, all right, cool, right? But like when you on a short leg of a trip and your layover 4, 5, 6 hours, like, bro, at some point you got to evaluate whether it makes more sense to just drive, right? Like rent a car and drive from point A to point B, because why is it taking my flight to go from New York to Georgia 26 hours? If I see a +1 day in the time where I'm trying to book a flight, chat, like that's cooked. Never been on a plane before, so these companies foreign to me. Listen, we're giving it to you here, right? If you do happen to look for a plane, right? You want to see a little bit of my process? My process is very simple. I will go to a third party. Let's call it Travelocity. Again, I'm not sponsored, right? So I'll go to somebody like Travelocity, and when I'm at Travelocity, I'll say, hey, let me go to let's say I want to go to California. I want to go to California, right? And I want to leave from Baltimore. And it just populated a random day on here. But let's say whatever random day they populate is what I want, right? So I went from Miami to Jacksonville. They put me on a little propeller plane. Shit was cool and scary at the same time. Listen, those single engine planes, berserk. I flew in a single engine plane to Little Rock, Arkansas. Don't ask me why I was in Little Rock, Arkansas. Let's just say I was visiting the presidential library, right? But them single engine planes, when they so small that they got to tell you in the middle of the air, hey, seat number 3, we need you to move to seat number 5, right? Seat 2A, can you move to seat 3B? Because we need to balance out the plane. Them single engine planes are absolutely terrifying. And what else is terrifying is when you hear things like, how do you know if a pilot is good or not? Well, look at how many passengers on a plane, because they give all the rookie pilots less number of people. Less number of people, right? Because in the case of a incident, we'll call it, there's less liability. Do we want to give a rookie pilot 100 passengers, or we want to give them 10? Right? So that's how you tell. So if you got a pilot that's flying a double decker plane, chat, right? So you got a plane with stairs in it, a big ass KLM plane. Listen, that pilot is experienced. They've been through the trenches. Right? So here, right, this is Travelocity. You can come here and you can basically see virtually, I'm not going to say all, but a lot of flights going from point A to point B, and you can see all the different airlines. So now if you like different airlines, you can kind of filter, right? So like Berserk said, right, we like Delta. So if we like Delta and I'm going on this trip, all right, here's Delta. I can even filter from time of day I want to leave. I can filter from, the type of seat I want, whether I want an economy seat or a first class seat, right? I have no idea, right? Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know why it's not loading, but if I want one of these, so I can see the length of the flight. I could see the layover time. If there's a layover, I can pretty much see all the flight details about this, right? And then again, part of my process is once I've done that, right? Once I've done this, Southwest ranked #1 U.S. airline. Hey, there you go, chat. I can't confirm or deny that information. But I might say, okay, cool. But now, do I want to book through Travelocity? That's a personal preference. But if I like Delta as much as I say I do, then I might look here just to get an idea of the different flights. And if I ultimately say, okay, Delta, then I'll probably go to Delta Airlines. I'll go to Delta Airlines, and then I'll look up that same trip and see what kind of information they're feeding me. See what kind of flights that they're gonna have available, right? Because I went to Travelocity and said, oh, well, there's hella flights available. Look at this. Spirit Airlines suspends service. To assist travelers impacted by Spirit Airlines service suspension, Delta is offering reduced non-refundable fares in affected markets through May 6th. Find the best deals on Delta app or delta.com. Let's look at Southwest. Let's see if they have a similar message on their site. Spirit Airlines. Southwest has options for customer holding Spirit reservation. Look, chat. Listen, there could be a lot of airline hate, chat. But when you see airlines doing stuff like this, supporting Spirit, look, chat. I'm sorry. Run that applaud back, right? Because this is a good thing. You got to give it up for the airlines for this, right? Because some of those people are, even though we're joking about the company going out of business and the situations at hand, but like people are really legit going through it with those Spirit Airlines flights. And for airlines to step up and be like, yo, we got your back. Yo, shout out to them. No other sidebar. But yeah, that's Spirit Airlines, chat. So let's get into it. Chat. I'm going to give another disclaimer just so we get it out there, but I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a certified financial planner. I'm not an accountant, a tax accountant, tax advisor. I am not licensed with a series. None of these things. I'm not giving you advice. If you need any advice, you consult someone who is licensed and a professional to do that. Consult your advisor. I'm just a dude that is giving you financial entertainment. If you want to know my credentials, I do have a degree in finance from an accredited university. So that at least gives me the ability to speak on certain subjects. Other than that, I'm not recommending you do anything. So what we're doing here, this is CNBC. And if you're new in the building, we like CNBC because it's a decent little user interface, right? The interface it very much gives us the feel of an Apple iPhone, right? It's very simple, it's clean cut, right? The information's right there. There's not all the information on the internet, but find your own place you like to go. But this is where we go, right? We got our Christmas bar so we can always see, hey, is the market up or is the market down? Well, it's kind of split right now, but the Dow and the S&P are currently down in the pre-market, not by much, right? Couple little basis points here and there. NASDAQ futures up, couple little basis points. Oil been up, right? Treasuries up. But here's a breaking news banner. Stocks making the biggest moves pre-market, right? Let's see what they're talking about. eBay, Norwegian Cruise Line, Coinbase, and more. And listen, I've never taken a cruise, chat. So I can't even comment on Norwegian Cruise Line being up. Like, what's that about? Is this peak cruise season? What's peak cruise season? Right? But anyway, Norwegian Airline, listen. If I were to show up at a cruise, did I say airline? Cruise line. If I show up at a cruise and they had went out of business and they're like, yeah, this boat ain't here. They're not picking y'all up. Especially, can you imagine if that's after a flight? Not everybody lives near the port of Miami. Not everyone lives near the port of Baltimore or whatever other port has cruise ships leaving out of it. So, yeah, but they up. Dow futures dropped 200 points as oil spikes on increased Iran tensions. If you don't know about what's going on with Iran and the war, then you're absolutely living under a rock. Especially when I've definitely mentioned it several Mondays because it's there in the headlines. And we're going to see what other headlines they got as well. Advil. So yeah. So what kind of stuff they talking about this morning? Again, Dow futures dropped 200 points as oil spikes on increased Iran tensions. Like 200 points, I mean, okay. Right? Because the market, like we always say, the market is going to do this. It's going to go up. It's going to go down. It's going to have its volatility, right? But these things you don't have to get concerned over these little short-term type of situations, right? Oil prices rise as Trump plans to free ships stranded due to Mideast conflict. Bond yields move higher as traders digest Middle East unrest, await jobs report. Listen. I mean, they are waiting the jobs report. Okay. That's going to be a key indicator to tell you what is pretty much going on in the economy. I'm going to say that depending on what type of information they include on said jobs report, but listen, how many employees did Spirit Airlines have? Approximately 17,000 people. This workforce, which include around 5,000 flight attendants, 2,000 pilots, and various mechanics and ground staff, was left without employment following the company's abrupt closure. Chat, 17,000 people, bruh. That is the news story right there. Right? Yes, people can't catch flights. But in reality, unless it's something severe and an emergency, that is a minor inconvenience. Because think about it. You could have just had a canceled flight. Would that be any different? It wouldn't be any different for the individual. Flights get canceled all the time. Flights get delayed all the time. So that's a minor inconvenience. But 17,000 people, including both direct and contract employees being affected. Listen, these are things that we got to start paying attention to. The airline had been in operation for 34 years. It sure has, because I worked for them for 5. If you know, you know, right? Filed for bankruptcy and initiated an orderly wind down of operations following a rise in jet fuel prices. You telling me that oil prices, which lead to jet fuel, was a part of the reason why Spirit closed down, chat? Like, we're paying too much in fuel and we just can't keep up. Listen, this is why you read articles. This is why you look at news headlines, right? Look how we just, quote unquote, uncovered that information. It's not hidden, so we didn't do no deep diving, but the fact that we can put those two things together, right? Just from this, that's crazy. 17,000 people lost their jobs. On top of that, we find out that the airline, right, wind down operations following a rise in jet fuel prices, right? Jet fuel. Hey. Hey, that was a good one. Give it up for Ice. Right? Because you got to think, right? Now here, listen, I told y'all before, and I'll tell y'all again, right? Who's at the head of the United States? Your boy DJT. And I told y'all once, and I'll tell y'all again, listen, if Trump got an issue with you, he could deal with you in some way. Not saying and not implying that Trump had anything to do with Spirit Airlines closing down. But if you think about the power that certain individuals hold and the fact that Trump, along with his staff and others, are one of the reasons why this debacle is taking place. And a part of that is resulting in fuel prices, which resulted in Spirit Airlines, chat, not being able to afford fuel. Shout out to Pat James in the building. Appreciate the chat. But yeah, chat, like, think about that. What if it came out that the reason why this happened was because there was a plan put in place to shut down Spirit Airlines? If you're sitting there behind your screen or your cell phone and you say, no, there's no way, then trust me, you haven't watched enough conspiracy theories, right? Not saying this is one of them, but I'm just saying watching conspiracy theories, whether you believe them or not, will definitely at least open your mind to the possibility of things being possible. So would you say that, hey, Trump lost the last election, right? He was a president, he lost, then he won again. But remember, if you didn't vote for Trump, or if you didn't have his back when he thought you had his back, and now he's coming back like, listen, I'm gonna take care of all y'all, and I got a plan for you. And let's say a part of that plan is like, hey, a war can actually eliminate a lot of these people. Because you're thinking, yo, Trump not competing with True. That's two different lives. That's two different ecosystems. I'm nowhere near up here with Trump in the presidency, right? But there are people who are not president that are on Trump's level. So you got to think about it. What if he had beef with the CEO of Spirit? Not saying he did. But again, if you read enough conspiracy theories, reading stuff like this, like y'all went out of business because of jet fuel prices. And jet fuel prices, we've been looking at oil go up and up and up for how long now because of this war, etc., or this debacle, this situation. Okay. Just saying. Anyway, let's move on. Ryan Cohen tells CNBC GameStop could issue more stock to buy the much larger eBay. Do not count GameStop out. That's all I'm going to say. People always have you in a box. Right, chat? The human mind wants to box in everything. There's only one thing that can be true at a time, right? You're GameStop, you do games. Well, not really, right? Yeah, we do games, but we do other things as well. You don't know what GameStop is doing. So the fact that you now see an article mentioning GameStop could issue more stock to buy the much larger eBay, bro, why is GameStop buying or looking to buy eBay, right? Has anyone seen The 40-Year-Old Virgin? And the fact that I watch so many movies is one of the reasons I'm able to be a certified yapper chat, because I've been exposed to so many things. But who recalls the "we sell your stuff on eBay" store? We sell your stuff on eBay store. What if GameStop just decided to become a "we
If you're
sell
anything
your
like me, you
stuff
probably
on
didn't have an
eBay"
investment
store?
account growing up. But it's actually really easy to
You
start
bring
with
in your
Fabric, and it can
PlayStation
make a big
5,
difference
they
down the
give
road.
you
Check out
$68
Fabric, like you're
for
relief.
it.
Fabric offers a kids investment
$68
account that's
might
perfect
actually
for the
be too
vegetarian
high.
or those new to invest.
Look, chat.
Hi.
Andy, hi.
Right. Yeah. You remember my name?
I did. How you doing?
I'm great. I like your store.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, if you have time, look around. It's
Okay. How's business been?
Bro
You know,
looked
it's,
over his
it's-
shoulder,
it's
chat.
coming along. I mean, it takes a while.
Do you want to go out sometime?
Yes, I would like that. That'd be great.
For anyone who
I think
doesn't
I'm
know, this is
maybe
the
free
movie,
this
The
weekend
40-Year-Old
if you,
Virgin.
if that's okay, or you could call me tomorrow. And we
Steve
can just
Carell
firm it up.
is the
Okay.
40-Year-Old Virgin.
Great.
Great. Okay. So I'll call you and yeah, that'll be good.
And
That'll be
Jonah
good.
Hill
How you doing?
Congratulations.
Okay.
is an
So
extra.
yeah.
Can I help you?
Yeah, these are wonderful. I'll take these.
Thanks. They are. They're great. And the goldfish just crack me up.
Funny.
Yeah. They are.
Yeah.
They're cute.
I don't actually sell anything here. I just sell them on eBay.
Oh, I don't get it.
I know.
Okay.
Can you help me?
No, I don't. You're on your own
Help
here.
me.
Good luck to you and to you. And, I'll give you a call.
Great.
Okay? Great. Nice to see
Thanks
you.
for coming in.
Bro looking like,
I'm getting cooked.
So I guess I'll just give you some money and you can give me these shoes and
You know, I know it seems so strange.
yeah. So I'd just rather buy them from you straight up.
Yeah, I know. I wish it could be that easy, but
I wish too, but you're making it extremely difficult for me. I'm just trying to get these shoes back to my house so I can wear them.
I got a corpse in my way. Look out.
there you go, chat. We sell your stuff on eBay store. So yeah, GameStop. Is that you? Is GameStop trying to we sell your stuff on eBay? Hey, they might be. You never know, right? Warsh's take on Fed independence is met with confusion and some concern. Read the article for yourself. I have no idea what they're talking about. CNBC's official WNBA team valuations 2026. The league has its first $1 billion team. Hey, shout out to the WNBA, right? Shout out to the fact that them salaries are slowly increasing for some of those players. I mean, it used to be a talk a long time ago where people say, listen, you want to make the WNBA more watchable? Just lower the rim by a half a foot. Get rid of the 10-foot rim and put it down to 9.5 feet. Listen, I'm not going to comment on that, but I will say the major difference realistically, right? Because basketball is basketball, right? The major difference in women's basketball is men's basketball is the number of dunks. Because there's absolutely WNBA players that are better than some NBA players. And there's definitely some WNBA players that can shoot better threes than some NBA players, right? But at the end of the day, there is not nearly, not even by a long shot, the number of dunkers in the WNBA versus the NBA. There's probably over 90% of the NBA that can dunk. Not saying they do dunk during the game, but can dunk. While the number is drastically lower for the WNBA. Feel free to argue amongst yourselves. McDonald's likely to bounce as fast food chain overhauls menus marketing. Listen, McDonald's is one of those places that they gonna be around no matter how you feel about them because they're providing fast food and many demographics, right, will absolutely devour some fast food. And frankly, this is opinion. This is not fact because I haven't looked it up. But my opinion based off what I've seen through like articles, through advertisement, through social media, is that when it comes to fast food, it's popular at a impoverished level, right? So you have people who don't have a lot of money. So fast food is definitely popular among them. And then you have middle class, right? Middle class, the McDonald's and other fast food companies are not popular amongst many of the middle class, right? That's where people start to get a little bougie. They got a little bit of money, right? They want to buy all organic. Everybody's gluten free at this level, right? There's no MSG or whatever you want to call it, right? But then you have at an elite level, so wealthy and rich people are like, yeah, I fuck with McDonald's, right? You got people like Warren Buffett say, yeah, I get a McDonald's every single morning. This dude could quote you the price of a egg McMuffin since he was a child, right? He literally said that. He literally said, yo, I go to McDonald's every morning. That's what I eat for breakfast, right? Warren, he also is the same person that says, listen, I eat like a 6-year-old. Why? Because 6-year-olds have the lowest mortality rate, meaning for those of you who don't understand, certain words, right? That means 6-year-olds die less than every other age. So if they die less than every other age, what is helping them stay alive? Well, maybe it's their diet. Their diet consists of McDonald's, Coca-Cola, right? Anyway, just saying. And skills type. Rudy Giuliani, former New York mayor and Trump lawyer, hospitalized in critical condition. Yo, this man is his age is really starting to show. So no comment on that. Hopefully he's I ain't got nothing against him. I don't know him, but hopefully he's all right, bro. Critical condition. Musk saw settlement with OpenAI before Oakland trial filing shows. Listen, I told y'all before. When it comes to OpenAI, I already gave y'all the scenario. OpenAI, Elon Musk, Apple. I mean, listen, don't take things for face value, right? Because they're all against each other, but they're all working together, right? Right? I would assume so. If you're really paying attention, like I feel like they're all in cahoots. But I mean, Apple got a new CEO now, so what's the future for Apple, right? AI chip maker Cerebras targets $3.5 billion raise in IPO. Cerebras? $3.5 billion IPO? Listen, a lot of IPOs, chat, again, I'm not giving you advice on how to invest in things, but one of the things you got to look for in IPOs is the immediate skyrocket. IPOs, initial public offerings, skyrocket, and then a lot of times drop back down. Many times, especially since they don't have much information to provide the public in terms of earnings, right? That's what it is, initial public offering. Like, we're now becoming public, so we're now going to give you a look into our books. But at the moment, we don't have no books. Come back to us in 6 months so you can start getting some information, right? WiseBot cooked 2 people. Hey, listen, if you're a bot, don't come in botting. You don't care about what I'm saying, but hey, listen, the WiseBot's on it. Anyway, Godspeed, my friend, inside the final hours of Spirit Airlines. Listen, WiseBot don't play. We talked enough about Spirit. I think at this point we know what happened to some of the passengers, which, if you thought I was joking, that was actually real scenarios. People literally showed up at the airport, went to the kiosk, and the flight just didn't exist. Those were real scenarios. Regardless of how I presented it to you, those were real scenarios that I was using. Spirit Airlines did, in fact, close down, and we know at least one of the reasons. Fuel costs. We can't fly our planes if fuel cost is costing this much, but we're only charging passengers. Like they charging passengers a dub. $20. You want a flight? $20. We'll put you in seat 87. Pyro reveals new Trump attack evidence. Cole Allen removed from suicide precautions. Listen, this Cole Allen situation is crazy. Have y'all seen the video of the incident of him running through security? You would think a person running through, blicked up like this, would get shot, but there's also protocols, right? You can't just, a guy ran through security with a gun toward where the president is. You would think that one of those Secret Service agents would take out and just start blinking, but that's not what happened. He ran straight through. Chat. You got to look that video up. Weight loss and hair loss, the growing hair treatment market from GLP-1s. Okay. I know I don't know if I mentioned this on a live, but I was watching something. Listen, chat. I'm not telling nobody what to do. I'm just simply giving you information you may or may not have access to. And listen, if you're thinking about weight loss, listen to my next statement. This is a true story. I heard this on morning television. I can't remember the name of the show, whether it was Good Morning America or whatever the show was, but the lady literally, and this is, call it a paraphrase, but this is what she said. She said, I've been taking Ozempic. Nothing against Ozempic. A lot of people seem to like it, but she name dropped Ozempic. She said, I've been taking Ozempic, and one of the side effects that I've experienced is I am now allergic to seafood. What? Chat. A woman said on live television, I've been taking Ozempic. It has been working for weight loss. I've been using it for years, but I can no longer eat seafood.
What the hell is even that?
Chat. If you are taking weight loss drugs, I just encourage you to really read the side effects, because some of the side effects may not be listed. I have to assume that being allergic to seafood is not listed as a side effect. But that's just an assumption. It could be, and that may be a risk you're willing to take, but I'm just pointing it out. Used EV sales are surging. How their ownership costs compared to gas-powered cars. We've had this conversation a ton of times, chat. EV vehicles. Why? Because people, want to start saving on those high fuel costs. Because if you don't, you may end up laying off 17,000 employees because you can't afford gas. Like, come on, bro. Just saying. World Cup prize pool nears $900 million as FIFA boosts payouts. Here's who gets what. Hey, listen, I actually, chat, y'all know I do Lego sometimes. This is just a random filler. But I bought 2 Lego sets. I bought a Ronaldo and I bought a Messi. There's a Messi Lego set and there's a Ronaldo. I bought it. 2 Lego sets. So maybe at some point you'll see me build one of those, right? Greg Abel earned solid scorecard from Berkshire shareholders after first annual meeting. I'll be real with you, chat. I can't remember who Greg Abel is. I think Greg Abel was, CEO, right? It's the person they put in plans for, CEO Greg Abel, like the secession plan. He was part of the secession, right? Okay. Yeah, very solid. No misspoke words. Though Andrew Steve, check the founder of Capital, nice guy, but we sure don't have the laughs that we had with Warren and Charlie. I got Charlie Munger's little almanac situation. I need to read that. It's a thick book, but I gotta check that out. But yeah, There's your Berkshire Hathaway CEO, Greg Abel, and apparently they like him so far. Pyro appears to drop plans to appeal criminal investigation of Fed Chair Powell. Like, it's crazy that they really trying to investigate Chair Powell. Like, those are some serious allegations, bruh. Bubble effect. Weight loss drug fueled growth is putting the pharma sector at risk, report finds. Why is weight loss drugs putting the pharma sector at risk? I'm definitely gonna have to check out that article to see what they're talking about. But let's keep moving. OPEC Plus announces 188,000 barrels per day output increase in first meeting without UAE. They giving you the information. 188,000 barrels per day output. I'm assuming barrels of crude oil, but barrels of what? Oil output. That's what I was assuming. I'm not gonna read the article. I just had to click on it just to be sure, because they saying barrels. I mean, barrels can be filled with anything. Barrels can be filled with fucking spinach. The hell? Like, put oil in the title. They want you to click on it. That's why they don't, they don't want to give you all the details here. It's like, I guess you can assume oil, right? If you know what OPEC Plus is, but come on now. Earnings playbook, Palantir and Advanced Micro Devices, what AMD usher in the next week of reports. It's earnings season, right? It's earnings season somewhere. Fewer features, more value. Why some Americans are buying simpler cars. Because people are tired of spending their last dollar to get these damn fancy cars fixed, bruh. Like, who wants to buy, and nothing against any of these automobiles, I'm just saying brands that are fairly luxurious, but who wants to buy a used Mercedes and then have to take it to the not the body shop, but the mechanic after owning it for a couple of months? And let's just use a random number. Let's say you pay $15,000 for a used Mercedes. You drive it for a couple of months. You're enjoying yourself. All of a sudden, as you're driving, you start hearing a ticking sound. You start hearing this. I don't know what that sounds like to y'all, but you start hearing a clicking sound coming from the hood of your car, your engine. You take it to go get checked out, and they say, yeah, this is going to cost you about $3,000. People are tired of that shit. People are tired of getting used cars and getting basically swindled or getting lemons. Like, I don't want to spend $15,000 on what I'm thinking is a luxury vehicle, and then I got to spend another $3,000 in a matter of 3 months to get it fixed. Like, come on, bro. That's ridiculous. So people are like, yeah, I'm going to go get me a little Honda Accord, go get me a little Toyota Camry, go give me something simple to where, one, the maintenance is going to be lower, and two, the chances of needing maintenance is going to be lower. I'm going to go give me a little Acura or something like that. That's what people are thinking. And then now with the price of certain EVs, especially used EVs going down, like, yo, I'm going to go ahead and get me a little Model 3. Give me a little Tesla. I'm going to go ahead and pay $16,000 for it. Hopefully I don't have to change the battery in that bitch. But one thing I know I don't have to worry about is filling this mug up with gas. Right? Anyway, Jim Cramer, Big Tech earnings show how big smart spending can be rewarded by a market. Okay. Denmark faces data center reckoning as grid strain raises threat of moratorium. Listen. Denmark faces data center reckoning as grid strain raises threat of moratorium. Chat, do you know what a moratorium is? For those who don't know what a moratorium is, chat, it's a temporary suspension or authorized delay of a specific activity, law, or legal obligation. It acts as a pause, often during an emergency, to halt actions like debt payments, construction, or, for example, temporary ban on fishing or mining, etc., right? So this moratorium could really be affecting one side or another depending on what is behind the moratorium. So I'll give you an example. In DC, chat, and other areas as well, not just DC, there was a moratorium put in place when it came to renters, right? During like the pandemic and stuff like that, there was a moratorium put in place, which means like you can't evict someone. If you're a landlord, you couldn't evict someone from the property even if they weren't paying you because of this moratorium that was in place. So those are serious things. I mean, we don't live in Denmark, or at least I don't, right? So obviously the attitude surrounding that is going to be one of like, well, it don't affect me. So, but reading these type of situations are good because you can find out like, all right, they're talking about data centers, right? Data centers have always been, especially over the last couple of years, a big conversation. When they talking about, how much water are you going to be using by asking ChatGPT questions and stuff, this is something to pay attention to. From laundromat to millions, Cody Sanchez on how to buy your first business. Listen, that might be a good article, right? If you're buying your first business, chat, what kind of business you want to get? What kind of business are you getting, chat? You getting a laundromat? You getting a vending machine? Hey, whatever it is, apparently Cody Sanchez can help you buy your first business. India is burning more coal as extreme heat and the Iran war squeeze energy supplies. This is turning up the heat, chat. This is really putting pressure on companies, as we see for our example for today, Spirit Airlines, that according to Google, one of the reasons they are getting cooked is because they cannot afford fuel. They cannot get jet fuel, chat. Anyway, that was the rundown of the articles, chat. So I say that gives us some things to look forward to as the week progresses. Some key takeaways, I guess, for me is like, all right, you want to pay attention to the jobs report, especially you want to hear the conversation around the jobs report, right? Because again, we just witnessed about 17,000 people lose their job. In case you're wondering, like, how new is that information? Well, that just happened recently. That just happened like yesterday. I mean, not realistically yesterday, not literally, but like over the last couple of days. I mean, that's when Spirit basically shut down. I think it was over the weekend. So you got 17,000 people who are now up Monday morning now looking for jobs. 17,000 additional people competing for the jobs that people are already been competing for. You got GameStop that hasn't really been saying much since what's his name? What's the guy's name, Chad? Headband guy. Everyone's talking about him. He became really wealthy off of GameStop. The cat. What's his name? GameStop. The cat. What's his name? Keith Gill. Roaring Kitty. There you go. Roaring Kitty. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Roaring Kitty, right? So since the whole Roaring Kitty incident, I don't want to call it the Roaring Kitty incident, but yeah. The persona. I am not a cat. I like the stock. Listen, he cleaned absolute ass when he was trading GameStop. But yeah, so GameStop back in the news, right? Talking about a much larger eBay. Okay, we sell your stuff on eBay. So pay attention to that. Pay attention to Fed. Pay attention to, the food menu being overhauling. First of all, shout out to anybody out there who believes McDonald's has the best fries. Because I tell you, in my opinion, McDonald's does have the best fries. Call it what you want, Jack. So yeah, that's the rundown. Anyway, that's what I got for y'all. That's what I got for y'all, chat. That's what I got for you. So, you know, I've been up for many hours at this point, and now I'm gonna go grind it out. That's what life is. Life is life in chat. You get it in. You get in where you fit in. You get a routine going, but you got to put in work because again, if you're not gonna put in work, somebody will. Somebody will. And again, that job market. Listen, that job market is a summer gun. Right, chat? So yeah, again, that's what I have for you guys. I appreciate everyone who constantly comes through. Anytime you see your boy True has gone live. And anytime I go live, be the first to chat. We slowly coming up on a year. All right. And I think we've made excellent progress. Regardless of how some people may feel about us, right? We've made excellent progress. We've built a community. We have people that come by and support us. We got a little things here and there. You know, a year is a long time, but we accomplished a lot, right? We definitely accomplished a lot, and we're going to accomplish a lot more because I told you I'm not going nowhere, right? I'm not here every day, every morning, every night like I used to be, but listen, at the end of the day got to end. And when the day end, hey, True's going to be on your mind because we're going from zero to hero, somebody that nobody knows to somebody that everybody knows. And we're going to do that through small, calculated steps. So if you think the calculation stopped, listen, you're tripping because you never know where you might see me pop up. You feel me, chat? Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and raid out. But before I do, I got to find somebody to raid. So y'all just chill out for a second. Y'all chill out for a second. Let's find somebody to raid. Let's get that raid music. Shout out again to Berserk in the building. Shout out to Ice, Miss G. Shout out to everybody that constantly come through. Y'all already know the vibes. But let's get this raid music go. Let's go. Shout out to y'all. It's a couple of people live today. I see who I want to go to. This will be a little different raid. This individual who I'm going to raid definitely is a fan of more of the IRL chat. And this is somebody y'all have seen in my live before. So shout out to the boy. We're going to go over there and raid him right now. Hey, listen, once y'all go over there, follow me over there, right? Y'all gonna hear that beat drop in just a moment. Let's go. Let's go. This man is hella funny. Yeah, you gotta really like his work ethic and his grind is one to be studied. I promise you that, chat. But shout out to this man. We about to go raid him right now. Listen. Let's go. Let's go.
You'll never like catch me going